Obviously, we're very disappointed that the governor decided yesterday to veto the emergency funding bill to get the money to our school districts, our nonprofits, and our human service agencies. Two and a half weeks ago, he told us that he would sign that bill. Last week, obviously, he changed his mind. And yesterday, we found out the reason through his veto message and also his letter to our members that his veto was in order to keep the pressure on the legislature to agree to his budget demands. We have told the governor, and I have personally told my colleagues in the House and the Senate from the Democratic perspective, that the votes are just simply not there for a personal income tax increase to do anything other than property tax reductions, dollar for dollar, or property tax elimination. There seems to be some disbelief amongst the governor as to whether the votes are there or not, and we're at a fork in the road. And next Wednesday, we're going to choose a path. The governor has his week to garner the votes, and as I said, I will not personally try to sway our members in one direction or the other. In fact, I will ask them to meet the governor, hear him out, and talk about their own perspectives with the governor on a one-on-one basis. The governor has to recognize what we've told him for months, that there is not support in the House nor the Senate, presumably, for a broad-based tax increase for anything other than dollar-for-dollar property tax reductions or elimination. And look, we've had this conversation. I must have reiterated it 50 times to the administration. If this is the path that we have to take for them to finally come to that realization, so be it. The governor believes he's got the power of the governor's office to get those votes. We'll see. His most recent package does not deal with property tax relief at all. They have kind of put that to the side for the purposes of the last month or so throughout the meetings. Obviously, we have a great interest in property tax relief. I think a number of members of the Senate do as well. We are running his most recent revenue package as he's presented to us, all-encompassing, because as they've said before, they believe, and they told us last week, they believe they have the votes for their revenue package. And I would say that they have said pretty clearly they believe they have 84 House Democrats in support of it as well. I've talked to individual members. They've told me something different. I guess the only way to find out what the truth is to put it up for a vote. There's a personal income tax increase in there, there's a sales tax increase in there, and that's going to hit working families, not big oil and gas companies. That this isn't just if we do a severance tax, we have a budget. If that's the governor's new proposal, we would welcome him to give us that proposal as well, and then we could budget accordingly. But that is not the proposal they have presented us for over a month now, and that's part of the frustration. The public needs to know what exactly the governor is proposing, because they're only getting one side of the story. This isn't just about taxing oil and gas companies, even though the governor proposed $1 billion revenue source in a severance tax, but the proposal he gave us, his numbers are $99 million. So that's $901 million he's got to make up somewhere. The only place to make that up in the rest of his proposals is getting that from the average worker. We are now entering the 4th month of the fiscal year. The governor has been saying for months he has broad support across this state and across this legislature for his tax increase proposals. We're going to give him an extra week. I told him, I committed to him last week, we would give you a week's notice. We're not just going to bring it up 15 seconds later, that we'll give him an extra week to secure the votes he already says he has, and next Wednesday's the deadline. Either we have them or we don't, and if not, we need to move on to a more realistic budget.